Right then guys, how's it going? And welcome back to your football predictions, the series where you guys go up against me to see who can get the most correct predictions for the upcoming weekend of Premier League games. Now before we get on to the games this weekend, let's take a quick look at my predictions from last weekend. It was a pretty hard weekend to predict. Games like Everton beating West Brom 5-2, Leeds Fulham 4-3, Spurs Southampton 5-2, and with all that in mind, I got 0 correct scores again. For the second week in a row, I got no correct scores. I did get 6 correct outcomes, but obviously 0 correct scores isn't great. This week's winners got 2 correct scores. We had quite a lot of people who got 1 correct score. I think the most popular right answer was Man City beating Wolves 3-1 or Arsenal beating West Ham 2-1. But the 2 who got 2 correct scores, and this week's winners are Liam and, well, hello there. Both of these guys have been commenting on the videos for a while now, so big up to you two. Thank you for getting involved, and well done on the 2 correct scores. Now, if you want to be shouted out in my predictions video next week, be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below for the games this weekend. But as always, we'll go through the games now. Start things off on Saturday, 12:30 on BT Sport. We have got Brighton taking on Manchester United. So Brighton lost their first game of the season against Chelsea. But then went and beat Newcastle 3-0 at the weekend. Unfortunately, as you might be able to tell, I did watch that game, and Newcastle were useless. But Brighton look good. I'm sure they are going to be feeling pretty confident going into this game, because they also won last night in their League Cup game against Preston. As for Manchester United, not so great. They had their first game of the season at the weekend against Crystal Palace, where they lost. I had some faith that Manchester United were going to hit the ground running this season, but clearly not. Palace played very well and got the win. Man Utd did also play on Tuesday night when they beat Luton in the League Cup. So, yeah, slow start for Brighton, but then beat Newcastle. Slow start for Man U. How will they do against Brighton? I have backed Man U to win 2-1. I do think they are a better side than what was reflected in that Crystal Palace game. Maybe it was the lack of match practice. I don't know. But to be honest, if Brighton play the way they did against Newcastle, it could very well go the other way. We just don't know. Next up again on the Saturday, but at 3 o'clock, and this one's on Amazon Prime. So a bit different for this one. We have got Crystal Palace taking on Everton. So I've already mentioned Crystal Palace. Fantastic start to the season. Won their first game against Southampton, then beat Man U at the weekend. Same with Everton, another team who have looked fantastic so far. Beating Spurs in their first game, and then, as I say, a cricket score against West Brom with the 5-2 win. Everton also beat Fleetwood last night in the League Cup. So 2 wins in a row for Crystal Palace in the league. 2 wins in a row for Everton in the league, plus a League Cup win last night. So, who's the favourite for this one? I think Everton probably are the favourite because of the fact Calvert-Lewin looks to be unstoppable at the minute. Richarlison's looking good. Even James Rodriguez has looked fantastic. Crystal Palace have looked very solid at the back. So, who's going to break through? Is Palace going to just nudge the win, or is Calvert-Lewin going to get another hat-trick? I have backed Everton to win 2-1. But again, it's early in the season. Sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen in these games. And it's always a bit of the lottery in the first 3 or 4 matches. So, let me know what you think down below for that one. Next up again on the Saturday, but at 5:30 and on Sky, we have got West Brom taking on Chelsea. So I mentioned the teams already who are in form. Unfortunately, West Brom are not. It's not been the dream start of the Premier League they would have hoped for, but in fairness, they've got a pretty tough string of fixtures for just getting promoted. They lost against Leicester first game, they lost against Everton second game, and now they're playing Chelsea. So it's not been easy for them. And they did also play in the League Cup as well on Tuesday, and they lost on pens against Brentford. So not a great start of the Prem, knocked out of the League Cup, and now they're having to take on Chelsea, who won last night against Barnsley 6-0 in their League Cup game. Chelsea in the league, they beat Brighton first game, and then we saw them lose against Liverpool at the weekend. In fairness though, Chelsea were down to 10 men for half of that game, so yeah. Predictions, as I say, West Brom have been leaking goals, and although I wouldn't say Chelsea have quite hit the mark that I expected them to, if you watch my Fantasy League videos, you'll know I've got Werner in. He hasn't returned anything yet. If he's gonna, you'd imagine it'll be in this game. I think Chelsea just need that little bit of time for all these new players to actually click, and once that happens, I think they could start getting a few more wins under their belt. So I have gone for a 2-0 Chelsea win. Next up, again on the Saturday, but at 8 o'clock at night, and on Sky, we have got Burnley taking on Southampton. So Burnley, again, just one game so far in the Premier League at the weekend, and they lost against Leicester. They did, however, beat Millwall last night in their League Cup game, so lost against Leicester first game, maybe built a bit of confidence back up with their win last night. Southampton haven't been onto a great start. They, as I say, lost against Crystal Palace in the first game, lost against Spurs at the weekend with the 5-2 loss. Son getting 4 goals for Spurs. I mean, Southampton were trying the high line, which is fine if you want to try it. But once Son scored 2-3 goals, maybe you should drop the line off a little bit. I do imagine they will be a lot more aware of that this week, and Burnley's attack in front three isn't quite the pace of Son. So I've sat on the fence and gone 1-1 with that one. Moving on to the Sunday at 12 o'clock on BT Sport, we have got Sheffield United taking on Leeds. So if you'd asked me to predict this one before the season started, I would have quite quickly backed Sheffield United, I think, because of how well they did last season. But they did end the season not too great, and they haven't started the season great either. They have lost their first 2 games. First up against Wolves, which I thought was going to be pretty 50-50, but Wolves took the win, and then lost against Aston Villa at the weekend. Again, Sheffield United missed a penalty, or a penalty was saved, and Aston Villa pick up the 1-0 win. So we're not sure. I don't really know where Sheffield United are yet. Are they going to bring back that team we saw last season, or are they just not on form and it isn't working? As for Leeds, promoted side lost their first game against Liverpool, but I mean it was 4-3, so at least they were scoring goals, and then went and won their game at the weekend against Fulham, obviously another promoted side, and again they won 4-3. So is it going to be another 4-3 in this one, but is it going to be to Leeds or is it going to be to Sheffield United? I think Sheffield United, I don't know, attacking wise I'm not so sure, and defensively, I seem a little bit all over the place at the minute, but I don't see as high scoring a game. I'm saying that after the amount of goals we saw last weekend, it could well be 4-3 again, but I have backed the promoted side. I've gone for a Leeds 1-0 win. But again, it just depends on what Sheffield United turn up to the game. Next up, again on the Sunday, but at 2 o'clock and on Sky, we have got Spurs taking on Newcastle United. So Spurs did not start the season well with an unconvincing performance against Everton when they lost, but as I say, came back with a bang with their win over Southampton at the weekend. It's a bit of a strange week for Spurs because they are playing in a Europa League qualifier tonight, but they were also due to play in the League Cup this week against Luton, but it got postponed / potentially even cancelled because the Luton players / manager have tested positive for the virus. So I don't know what's going to happen with that game. I mean, the next round is due to be played next week. I don't know if they're going to have time to even fit it in. So people are talking about whether Spurs should just be given the automatic win. But as we know, some of these teams in the lower leagues are really struggling at the minute. And a game like that, TV or whatever, or even just making it the next round for them, could make a huge difference. So a very busy week for Spurs and a bit all over the place. As for Newcastle, as I say, great start win against West Ham. Absolutely useless against Brighton at the weekend. And then a win last night against Morecambe in the League Cup. 7-0 win. I'd hoped Newcastle were going to win. I didn't quite imagine there'd be 7 goals. Looking at the prediction for this one, I think it's a positive for Newcastle that Spurs are playing tonight because they will have less of a rest before the weekend. I'm hoping that Newcastle can pick up some confidence from scoring some goals last night before going in this weekend. One thing I'll say about the Spurs versus Southampton game, they did score a lot of goals, but I actually watched that game and found that the first half an hour, or even first half, I would say that Southampton were the better team. I think it was the fact that Spurs suddenly realised that no one was marking the long ball for Son, and they did it 4 times in a row and he scored 4 goals. So Spurs did get a lot of goals. Can they get that many against the Newcastle side that, let's be honest, is going to be playing very deep and is going to be trying to defend and probably counter? I do have some faith in Newcastle, but I'm not going to lie, I have backed Spurs to win 3-1. So you can't call us biased. I don't know. I'm just a hopeless optimist for Newcastle, unfortunately, but I'm trying to be as sensible as possible. Harry Kane, Son on form. We looked useless against Brighton. Yes, we scored 7 against Morecambe, who are a League 2 side, but we've seen what Spurs are doing at the minute. Hopefully it won't happen, but there you go. Next up again on the Sunday, but at 4:30 and again on Sky, we have got Man City taking on Leicester. So we saw Man City in their first Premier League game of the season at the weekend when they played Wolves and beat them. It wasn't the weekend, it was Monday night, wasn't it? And I mean, they look good. Kevin De Bruyne playing in that slightly more attacking role, pretty much ran the show. Man City also play tonight in the League Cup against Bournemouth. Man City look great against Wolves. I should imagine they'll probably win tonight. And then we've got Leicester, who have started very well. They won their first game against West Brom, then they beat Burnley. They did lose last night against Arsenal in the League Cup, but I had a quick look at the lineups, didn't watch it, and it was a completely changed side, so both teams resting players. So I wouldn't really take that into consideration too much, to be honest, like most of the League Cup games. So who do I predict for this one? As I say, Leicester have won both of their opening 2 Premier League games. Man City, however, looked particularly good against Wolves, and Wolves are a good side as well. So I have backed Man City. Slightly more goals in this one. 3-2 I've gone for. Vardy yet to get on the score sheet, I don't believe. So maybe he can try and clinch it for Leicester, but yeah, Man City look great. I think they are the favourites. So I feel like that is the one I've got to back. Again on the Sunday, but at 7 o'clock at night on BT Sport, we have got West Ham taking on Wolves. So West Ham have not had a great start to the season, losing against Newcastle in the first game, and then a loss against Arsenal, which is obviously a tough one in the second game. They did, however, beat Hull on Tuesday night in the League Cup, so maybe that might inspire them to do something this weekend in their Premier League game. As for Wolves, they beat Sheffield United in the first game, as I mentioned, and then lost against Man City on Monday. Again, I mentioned that. So, a poor start for West Ham. Wolves beating Sheffield United Sheffield United weren't great. Losing against Man City, there's nothing to be sad about there. And Wolves actually have a very decent run of fixtures coming up where I think they will be hoping to win most of them, if not all of them, starting with West Ham. And I have backed Wolves. I've gone 2-0. As I say, West Ham haven't started great, but they don't want to have the season they did last season, fighting in relegation. And a home game against Wolves, I think they're not the favourites, but I think they might hope to try and pull something off. But no, I've gone Wolves 2-0. Moving on to the Monday night at 6 o'clock on Sky, we have got Fulham taking on Aston Villa. So Fulham, the promoted side, have not got off to a great start, losing against Arsenal, losing against Leeds. However, they did beat Sheffield United last night in the League Cup. And then Aston Villa, they are another side that's only played one game so far when they beat Sheffield United at the weekend. And they play Bristol City tonight in the League Cup. Fulham with the slightly extra longer rest because Villa play tonight in the League Cup. Although Fulham did lose against Arsenal and did lose against Leeds, it was positive for them to see Mitro getting on the score sheet against Leeds. They did get goals. You know, normally when you score in 3 goals, that is enough to win a game. It just so happened that it wasn't in the Leeds one. I should imagine if Fulham get 3 goals against Aston Villa, that would be enough to see them pick up the 3 points. Aston Villa, good win against Sheffield United, as I say. And I think they would probably be hoping to beat Fulham as well. Martinez with the penalty save for them in their most recent game as well. So they've brought him in. He's made a good start. I've sat on the fence. I have gone 1-1 for that one. Hopefully Mitro gets the goal for my fantasy team. And to finish things off again on Monday night, but at 8:15 on Sky, we have got Liverpool taking on Arsenal. So Liverpool, the champions last season, have started this season well. The win against Leeds in the first game, again, lots of goals there, and then beat Chelsea at the weekend. They also play tonight against Lincoln City in the League Cup. And I think that's away as well. You just think how big of a game that would have been for Lincoln had there been a crowd, and what a great game it would be to watch on the telly as well. But there you go. And then we've also got Arsenal, who have also had a good start. I mean, 2 games they would expect to win, but they did, and it's not always as easy as it looks. They beat Fulham and then beat West Ham, and they also beat Leicester last night in the League Cup. I've already said that. So yeah, good starts of both teams. I have backed Liverpool to win. I just think, Salah getting the goals in the first game, Mane getting the goals against Chelsea, and Aubameyang, I think, did he get a goal and an assist in his first 2 games? You know, I just think the firepower of Liverpool is so good. And I do know that in the Chelsea game they had a player sent off, but really before they had a player sent off, Liverpool will run in the show. And at home against Arsenal, I don't know. Can Arsenal pull it off? Can Aubameyang pull the points in for Arsenal? Let me know. I've gone 2-1 to Liverpool. And that is it, guys. So those are all of my predictions up there for the weekend. So be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below. I will go through all of your predictions before the first game kicks off, which is on Saturday at 12:30. So you've got tonight, all of Friday and Saturday morning to get your predictions in, and then it's 12:25 on Saturday. I make a note of everyone's predictions and then shout out the winner in my predictions video I'll do next week. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. As I say, drop a like if you are enjoying the prediction videos, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on if you want to be alerted to every prediction video that's coming out. As I say, predictions down in the comments below. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.